Kings and queens, welcome back to the second channel. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day and you're doing well. Today, we are going to be talking about pretty much the two front runners and kind of why I think it's Jason and maybe a little bit of the problems and issues and maybe just a bit of marketing. This is just, as you know, the second channel is just for more chatty videos, ranting, talking. That being said, let's jump on into it. Also, wait, before we even jump on into it, we have a Minecraft server. If you want to play, join my Discord. Let me know. We need people there, man. It's only me and like Tippy. It's very sad. It's very sad. We got you on too. But it's a little sad. Also, if you do end up using code KING to buy any orc cells, let me know in my Discord so you can be entered into a giveaway. I want to kind of give back to anybody that uses my code, whether you're just putting it in or you're actually buying something. Join my Discord. Link should be down below. Let me know that you're doing so as well. You'll be entered. Anyways, let's jump on into it. Pennywise on one side, Jason on the other. Who's it going to be? That is the main question. All evidence, in my opinion, kind of points towards Jason, and I think we're just tying loose ends together with Pennywise, and that's my honest opinion. But I want to go over a little bit of the facts and the details and everything that we've seen so far. Dead by Daylight has been teasing the number 13 pretty much everywhere. We've seen a bunch of different codes coming out as well. We had a trailer of potentially a new survivor or someone in the archives. We're learning some story. Maybe this is the killer. And essentially what we're seeing is graffiti when he runs out of the subway and it says Steven with a crown. I don't fully believe personally that this says Steven. It looks like it, but the more I look into it, the more I kind of debunked it. And the crown, there's no denying. That's the crown for sure. Then there's people that saying like, you know, Pennywise comes every 27 years and it's 27 days away and that's when they drop that. Or 13, you know, that Stephen King is afraid of the number 13 and that 13 chimneys locked away Pennywise and stop peeking or no peeking, you know, like literally you peeked over through the sewer and that's how Georgie got captured, right? So a lot of people are tying those kind of theories together, and I think this is a classic case of the community tying loose ends together. I get it, we want it to be Pennywise, we want it to be Jason, but to me that doesn't necessarily spell out that this is Pennywise. I look back at some of the other teasers that we've received before, such as Pinhead, for example. We literally see pins everywhere, so we knew it was Pinhead. You know, you look back at like the Oni, and the Oni mask was there. To me, the teasers are pretty obvious when it is that specific killer. I think for the 10th year, they definitely ramped that to like maximum, just so we can go on a wild goose chase, which is really fun. I'm really excited that speculation season is back, and this has been so fun to speculate everything. That's why I fully believe it's Jason, without a doubt in my mind, for just so many reasons. More on the speculative side is obviously Jason universe coming back and Jason essentially being in Fortnite, being in Call of Duty. We know that gate is open, and Matt Picote has stated on record multiple times if there ever was an avenue for them to get Jason, they will take it. Even when the lawsuits were pending, they were tempted to even dive into it. So as soon as they probably heard news that, you know, there's an avenue, they would have been the first ones on that doorsteps. And the timing for it is, it definitely is more of a crunch kind of timing for bigger games like Call of Duty or Fortnite that have such a massive team. It's very easy for them to turn around something. Not easy, but quicker is what I should say. And for DBD being a smaller team and having different teams working on different chapters at different times, and it, you know, it's only just a few people working on one set chapter, that turnaround could be a lot slower. So the timing wise, it's definitely a little bit more of a crunch time, but I still think to get it for a 10th year anniversary, they would get it to work. One of the things that I want to talk about, if we're going down my kind of theory and saying it is Jason, is kind of the idea of, do you bring Jason in now? Like, is that the best idea, or do you know, save him for a rainy day? And the reason why I say something like this is going to be a very wild example, but it's recency bias in my head. So I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to try to make more analogies for people to understand. But essentially, there is, in UFC, there's a White House card coming up. And they've done this a few times now with big events. They had UFC 300, which is a milestone event. They have their White House card coming up, which is a milestone event. And essentially, this is kind of like their biggest day. It's like, hey, like we want everybody to watch us. This is our biggest day. Now, obviously, because it's a big day, you want to put important and cool things on that card. So they've got some pretty big fights there. Arguably, though, not the biggest fights that could have been made, right? That wasn't intentional. They were definitely trying to swing for the fences. However, there's a superstar in the UFC called Conor McGregor. Whether you like him or hate him, he is very, very captivating, and he is very popular, probably one of the most well-known UFC fighters in the modern era. And everybody was waiting and anticipating that he would be on this UFC White House card, but he wasn't. Instead, he's going to be on a card in the future later in the summer. But now it creates a dynamic where you have your biggest thing coming and you have something that's pretty acceptable. You know, people aren't going to complain. They might be a slight bit disappointed, but you then have something else to look forward to as well when this is done. So the analogy comes back to Dead by Daylight now. Did you drop Jason on your 10th year anniversary and you just hit that home run and you're like, listen, here's all of our cards on the table. This is everything we have. We have Jason or Pennywise. I'm sticking with Jason. We have Jason coming into the game. This is our 10th year. These are all the cool things that are going to happen. And then where do you go from there? At that point, do you then say, okay, like later in the future, we're going to get a Pennywise? How does that work? Because in my opinion, if you had something that was fairly acceptable, let's say they brought in like Slender Man or Predator, right? And then we're like, okay, cool. But then they did a big reveal at the end of the stream that in like October or November, we're going to get Jason. That would be pretty hype. So now you have something to look forward now. You have your anniversary event. Then you know Jason's coming too. Like, that's huge. Now, they still can do this, obviously, with different chapters and different things, but that's just where my mind goes in, like, marketing kind of mode, where if we want to keep all the momentum that we're going to get now, do we save some of those cards for later? Anyways, I digress. I think they're going to, you know, swing while they can and then work and work and work and keep trying to level up, which is also a fantastic way of doing it. And the other thing that I want to touch about is a lot of people saying that if Jason were to come into the game, what would his power be? What would he look like? Would he be entertaining enough, or would he just be your standard like M1 kind of killer? Because people are like, we already have Trapper into the game. And to that I say, let's have a little bit of faith in the creative team for DBD and their designers. Let's see what they can do. You know, personally, like I said, I think they will do a good job. I think no matter what comes into DBD, they will find a way to do it. And I was 100% firm on this idea for a very long time until like Matthew Cote in our interview, for example, said they waited on the Alien chapter just so they knew what they could kind of create and make sure they do it justice. So then in my mind, I'm like, okay, so yeah, you know what? Maybe people have a little bit of leeway with this conversation and this argument. That being said, I still think they will find something interesting and cool to do with Jason. Jason at its core, I wouldn't say is basic, but it's a little hard to really stretch things out. And they do have a lot of material to work with the movies and with, you know, Friday the 13th, the game. They went really above and beyond with some of the powers. And I think they'll definitely take some inspiration from that because they want to captivate that audience as well, especially people that maybe don't like DBD, but they like Friday the 13th. So if they could bring those guys in as well. But I think there's a lot that they could do. I personally think he's just going to be walking through walls, you know. I'm not a fan of like the teleporting and like the whole ghost kind of Jason thing that was in Friday the 13th. We'll see if that ends up happening. If it does, I mean, I'm not complaining. It's just, I feel there's a lot that they could do. Nonetheless, I am standing firm that it's going to be Jason. I think they're going to put all their cards on the table, and I think there might even be stuff for us to look forward to. I still think they're going to do something like that. This is kind of like the obvious choice in my opinion, and then maybe later on they're like, okay, it is Predator or Slender Man or Darth Vader, whatever the case may be, you know. So we'll wait and see exactly what they decide to do and how that's gonna turn out, and we're gonna actually find out tonight at 8 p.m. EST or 9 p.m. EST, sorry. So that'll be cool. I'm debating if I should stream it. I'm not exactly sure if that's something that I want to do. I'll figure it out, and I'll definitely have videos on that. And then once the PTB and everything like that is out, I'll have videos not only on the second channel, but the main channel as well. So make sure you guys are staying tuned for that. I'm going to say thank you guys as well for all the support on the second channel. Second channel is supposed to be laid back. I originally just posted gameplay here, and I moved that to discussions, and it's really fun to make videos. I'll try my best to probably get videos, maybe 2 or 3 videos out a week. Just talking about what's hot in DBD or any topics or discussions. They're going to be more unscripted and just to the point. That being said, I hope you guys did enjoy. As always, in the King, tip my crown to you guys. We'll see you in the fog.